Chapter 2. Mum knocks on my door not long after Hannah leaves. She gives me a small smile as she sits on the edge of my bed, but it doesn't reach her tired, red eyes. "Hey, bud," she says, wiping my hair off my forehead. Her eyes dart to the stitches above my eye, and she quickly removes her hand, letting my hair flop back into place. "How are you doing?" "I'm fine, Mum." I sit up and lean back against the wall, pulling my knees up to my chest. She just buried her husband, and she's checking up on me? "How are you?" "I'll be okay." She leans over and kisses the top of my head. "I still have you and your brothers." I nod. Tears sting my eyes, but I blink them back. "It sucks." "Yeah," Mum sighs. "It does suck." Sniffing, I run my hands over my face. "I'm sorry." "Honey, you have absolutely nothing to be sorry for. Do you understand me?" Mum squeezes my hand hard. "But," she shakes her head. "No buts. None of this is your fault, and I don't want you thinking it is. Your dad wouldn't want you blaming yourself, and neither do I." I swallow the lump in my throat. Oliver, stop. My eyes snap up to Mum's. She hasn't raised her voice at me since I was 15 and I smashed a window playing cricket in the backyard. She sighs, pinching the bridge of her nose. "I'm sorry, honey, but I need you to understand you are not to blame for any of this. We all miss your dad, and as difficult as it is, we are all going to have to find a way to move forward. And the only way we can do that is to do it together." There's no point arguing with her. She doesn't understand. No one understands. The second porter took the opening and thrust his shock prod at the newcomer's back. The cloaked figure arched its back to an impossible degree and performed a handspring over the dumbstruck porter's head, deftly disarming him as it went. The porter had a moment of mute bewilderment before his own shock prod was discharged into his neck. The newcomer stepped past the prone porters and approached the tethered carnosaur that was thrashing in its restraints, alarmed by the sudden sounds of combat. Leaning close, they whispered to it, and it immediately began to calm. "By the throne, what do you think you're doing?" yelled the auctioneer, having finally recovered his wits. The newcomer ignored him and slipped the blinkers from the beast's eyes and unfastened the muzzle, dropping it to the ground. The creature made a low growl as the newcomer laid a hand gently upon its neck and reached under its cloak for a blade. Rikus leapt to his feet, dust flowing from his robes in an ashen waterfall. "Stop at once!" he shouted. The newcomer cut the fetters around the beast's legs and forelimbs, and it clambered to its feet, snorting and snarling. The crowd, held in rapt attention by the assault, now realized their peril and began to rush towards the exits. Small scuffles broke out as they tripped over each other in their haste. "You can't do this," said Rikus. "That beast is mine to sell." The newcomer turned, finally dropping their hood. The face reveal was pale and sharp-featured, high cheekbones and arched eyebrows framing almond eyes of deepest brown. Auburn hair was drawn up into a high ponytail chased with beads. It was quite the most beautiful visage Rikus had ever seen. "No," said the Eldari in a lilting Gothic, vaulting onto the carnosaur's back. "She was never yours to steal." You take in a raspy, shallow, and pain-filled first breath. The kind of breath that would normally be followed by exasperated coughing or a horrifying gurgling noise. But, as an artificial intelligence newly encased in flesh, you are not privy to such delights as the instinct to gasp for air. Instead, your eyes begin to water, your mind begins to race, and your body begins to realize that second breath may not be coming. Sometimes, I feel frustrated. When I feel frustrated, I can ask my teacher if I can take a break. Can I take a break? Yes. Take 5 breaths. Write about it. Draw about it. Rest for 5 minutes.